The Weekly Warp Pipe.
What's up, guys? Russ Lyman here, and welcome to the Weekly Warp Pipe, a podcast dedicated to retro video games, 80s and 90s toys, and all things nostalgia. This week, we're jumping in the Warp Pipe and going back and taking a look at The Legend of Zelda. The new game's coming out this Friday. Well, it's already been out since you listened to the episode on Saturday, Tears of the Kingdom, so we thought it'd be great to go back and take a look at all the other Zelda games. Oh, look at your hat, Jay.
Sorry, I was trying to do a wardrobe change in the middle of your monologue there.
Are you done?
I'm
can
good.
Keep talking.
I'm good.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot I had this hat. It sits up there out of my sight. So anyway.
That's one of the classic like Nintendo oddities hats. It's a trucker cap with the original Legend of Zelda logo across the top.
That's it. Looking pretty sweet. Anyway, I just thought it would be appropriate. So yeah.
Perfect. Well, let me give you guys a little synopsis of what we're diving into for the podcast. We'll get full camera. You guys check me out here and get into the mood. Close your eyes and let the haunting notes of the ocarina transport you back in time when you first ventured into the enchanting world of Hyrule. In this podcast, we unlock the secrets and memories of the Legend of Zelda series, delving into the heart-pounding battles, the awe-inspiring landscapes, and the unforgettable characters that have become a part of gaming history. So grab your controller and join us as we embark on a journey of nostalgia and adventure. Are you ready to relive the legendary tales of The Legend of Zelda?
Sorry.
Nice. Yeah, so there's I got a whole list here. There's 18 games total.
Jeez.
That range from 1986 to 2023. I figured we could go through most of them, give some thoughts.
I thought there was only 3.
Only 3 games.
I kid.
And then we did ask you guys some questions of Legend of Zelda. You know, what was your favorite episode, video game, or maybe a memory? So we'll get to those. You can always follow us on our social medias. We have a community page on our YouTube page. We got Instagram at The Weekly Warp Pipe and a Facebook group as well. So to kick us off, the first Legend of Zelda came out 1986 on the NES. Certainly a classic. That's probably one most people played. Probably everyone listening to the podcast has played this one.
I beat it recently, actually, because I hadn't beat it in a while. So I played it for all my TikTok watchers, and they kind of helped guide me through dungeons, which was pretty fun. But I will say, as a child, I had an unpopular opinion on Zelda.
Oh, no kidding.
I, from the commercials, was not at all like drawn in by its visual, like
was it the Zelda rap commercial?
No, it wasn't even that. I don't think. I just thought the style of it. I was not a fan of the overhead.
Okay.
I was brainwashed by Mario Brothers, and I only wanted left to right scrolling, platforming. And I remember saying that it had bad graphics.
Really? You were comparing it to Mario?
I guess so. I guess I just thought Link looked like, I don't know, just dinky maybe on screen. And,
yeah, I mean, he does look a little rough in saying that one.
I will say that I was short-sighted in my judgment based on purely the visuals, because the game is absolutely incredible, and I'm so happy that I've redeemed myself as an adult and went back and played it and appreciate it. But my, I guess, 8-year-old self back in 1989 just did not appreciate it. And I think I played it at a friend's house, and it was the free world. It made no sense to me. Like, to me, there was no end goal. I didn't understand what I was doing.
A lot like the open world.
Yeah, you would think that you would think that like an 8-year-old should be able to figure that out. But I guess I was just so used to the one, move left to right, and that's how you get to the next level.
Right.
To me, it just seemed like, oh, you just go around and kill things kind of at your own free will. That's not very fun. I didn't know the point of it. If I think had I known No,
Go
you
to
need to
this dungeon,
go to this
beat
dungeon,
that.
find this thing, and then
Yes.
it's find the next one until you find them all, I think then I would have probably enjoyed it more, but
Mhm.
so, yeah, unpopular opinion, as a kid, I didn't like Zelda.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed playing it growing up, using Nintendo Power maybe to help me out getting some places or asking kids on the school ground, how do you get to this dungeon? Where is this? Use the the flute here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, looking back at there was so many neat ideas that they had put into that game, like you said, like the flute, going to the different dungeons, finding the things, like, hidden stuff by you gotta find by, like, burning bushes
Oh
and
my, so many. I must have burned every bush. Like once you knew there was like a secret, I probably went to every bush like with the candle all the way down the line.
that's, like, only something you could have done as a child, though, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
could you imagine burning every bush on every screen in that game? You'd have to just have, like, endless summers to do that. It would be like playing Breath of the Wild.
Well, I'll say it's different because back then in the NES days, maybe you only had 5 NES games. So and you beat Mario how many times? Now you're on Zelda, so you're like, I got time to burn bushes.
That's right. You got time to burn some bushes?
Fair enough. Then
But,
I would say move on to the sequel is only a year later,
yeah.
1987, Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link.
Now, I remember the commercial, I remember the Zelda rap, but I remember the commercial for this one better, where the guy's like, "Zelda!" And he's, like, banging on this on, like, the screen almost of the TV looking for. Do you remember that?
I think so. I almost want to just pull it up,
Yeah, go ahead.
pull up some YouTube. But we are talking about the Zelda rap was pretty hilarious.
It's The Legend of Zelda, and it's really rad. Those creatures from Ganon are really bad. Da 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 da, and Libras too. Our hero pulls through. I can't remember all of it. And he goes, "Wiki wiki."
Wiki wiki. Yeah, because like the R&B rap stuff was like I guess hidden
Popular.
back then. So they're like, let's do this. Let's
Yeah.
see. What am I doing? Let's share screen.
It's like Octoroks and Tektites and Libras too.
That's it.
With your help, our hero pulls through. There you go. Jay doing the Zelda rap just for you.
Okay. We're up.
That's it right there.
We're on YouTube. All right, let's check it out.
Oh, actually, that's the third one. Is
The third
what
one?
they
Okay.
might that might be the same thing, but
The Legend of Zelda continues. Defeat your enemies, save the kingdom, use your sword. I cannot help you.
Find the crystals. Rescue the princess.
Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. And now, get into the latest Nintendo games, Ghostbusters 2 and Iron Sword. Only from Nintendo. Now,
oh,
playing with
man,
power.
those commercials are so awesome.
That's pretty unique that they actually within an ad for Zelda, they're promoting other video
Other
games as well.
games. Yep.
You
There
would
you go.
never see that now. Like you wouldn't
Oh, no.
watch, here's the new, you know, God of War coming out. Be sure to pick up Uncharted and
Right, yeah. Not gonna do that for sure, but Nintendo was, trying to show the love to everybody, I guess.
I guess so. Yeah, pushing the brand. Yeah, I can see how that little trailer there gets you pumped.
Yeah, like, in
It
the other
shows
I think the other thing that I really thought was cool looking about Zelda 2, and I remember thinking this, is like, "Oh, they fixed it." Because like, what I didn't like about the first one from watching commercials was the top down, but this reminded me more of Mario.
right because it shows that left to right act.
Mhm.
They molded both of them because you do have the overhead when you're traveling between villages, and
Right.
then once you go in a village or an
But in
action
that
area.
commercial, you don't see that.
Oh, that's true. So I wonder if they did spin it that way to show like
Yeah. It looked so
what.
much different. So, I was hooked.
Fair enough. Um, After that, we're moving on to the Super Nintendo in 1991, A Link to the Past.
Oh, yeah. This is, probably considered by most people a masterpiece.
As I say, top tier game right here,
Oh,
probably.
absolutely.
Definitely ranks high on my list for sure. It's just the opening. I feel like we just have to watch the opening of that with the
So, what's funny is I got a Super NES in '92, and I went to my cousin's house, and my uncle had bought it because he, I guess, had played Zelda the original, and so I remember playing that at her house and enjoying it a little bit more, but still not understanding the point of it. And
No kidding.
I wish my uncle would have, like, sat me down and kind of showed me,
Right.
like, "This is what you're doing," because it still did not appeal to me. Like, I remember playing it just to see what it was like, but, like,
Mhm.
I was slow on the Zelda for some reason.
Slow on the Zelda. There's this opening. You just see the Triforces. Dude, so good.
I couldn't imagine, like, being a fan of the original
Okay.
and then like, beating it and, like, loving it, and then having that come out. I feel like I would have lost my mind. So
Like,
I'm actually
because it's so much better?
because it looks so
How much
cool, like,
oh,
right?
right.
I can it's like, it's like playing Metroid and then seeing Super Metroid. It's like, "Whoa, this is, like, so much cooler," you know what I mean?
Right.
I feel like I got robbed of that because of my stupidity.
Now, my friend ended up getting the game before me, so I would watch him play it, go over his house on weekends and see him going through it. And I just thought it was super unique with they added the dark world and the light
Yeah.
world where you can go between both
Mhm.
of them and have puzzles with that, and it made it so much more unique. And you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I have to fall over here in the dark world to get here in the light world.
Right.
Like super cool.
Yeah, it just, the story was great, the graphics were great, even though Pink Link has pink hair, um, which NES Complex pointed out, I would have never noticed that. Um, but, yeah, that game is really good. I've played through it several times. Actually, on the other side of my game room here, I
Mm,
have the map of it, framed, so that's pretty cool because it's just a
nice.
neat map. I need to frame my original one or the original Zelda one. This is a cool map too.
Oh yeah, from the first
Yeah.
NES one.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get a custom frame because it's such a weird shape.
True.
But I'd love that on the wall at some point.
Perfect. All right. After that, we got a ton here. Ton of games. 1998. No, never mind. I'm jumping ahead. 1993.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
jumping to the Game Boy Link's
Game Boy,
Awakening.
which I also understand is a masterpiece.
Yes, a lot of people hold this game pretty high. And they did have a remake that came out on the Switch. So if you haven't played it, you can play the Switch version. Looks beautiful on there. But so this came out on the Game Boy, and it also came out in the Game Boy Color because they added
Yeah.
a color dungeon to it, which was pretty unique.
Th
But
this is one of the 4 Game Boy games I actually own.
oh, nice. Yeah, super fun one. Links on an island, so it's like takes you out of Hyrule. And again, it's that top down mechanic, traversing around. But what was super unique with the development of it is they actually had like free range to put like different characters in it. So
Oh,
actually,
yeah.
there's a chain chomp
I was about to
in
say
the
a Chain
game,
Chomp's in it, right?
and there's Goombas in it,
Oh, wow.
and because it cuts to Link goes down. I think it's a pipe. I want to. He goes somewhere where it goes to an underworld, and it turns to like side scrolling,
Oh,
and
wow.
Link can jump, and there's like Goombas, and you. I'm like, what is this? Like
That
that would
that
never
probably
happen.
that probably blew people's mind back
I
then.
know it. So super cool. Really enjoyed that one. Good story. Then after that, we're jumping to 1998, the Nintendo 64 Ocarina of Time.
I know other people love this game as well. I had a gold copy of it, when I first started collecting, and my collecting wasn't as laser focused. Uh, and unfortunately, I never played it to beat it or anything. But I know my this guy I used to work with named Johnny. He was all about Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I played it when it came out, the first 3D Zelda game. This is definitely held in high regard. And has lots and lots you can do. Speed runs of the game are everywhere. They did do a re-release on the GameCube,
Nice.
and the 3DS. So multiple ways to play this game if you haven't enjoyed it.
Yeah. Unfortunately for me, during the time of N64, I did not ever get an N64, and I wasn't
Mhm.
gaming at that point in my life. So I totally missed it and the game you'll probably bring up next.
Right. So that was 98. I'm surprised it took 2 years after this because with the original Zelda and Zelda 2 was only a year. So using the same engine, Majora's Mask came out in 2000 on the N64,
I
which makes
recently watched the AVGN episode on this.
oh, I'll have to go back
That
and
was
check
pretty
that one
good.
out. This one I didn't like as much. I didn't play it on the N64. I did end up playing it again. It got re-released on the 3DS system where they tweaked the little things here and there, but it has the whole time mechanics. You only have 3 days to complete whatever until the moon crashes into and you have to start over again. And there's so many different puzzles in it. It's definitely a darker tone
Yeah.
in it. So some people like that.
What do you think was the standpoint for you that made you maybe not enjoy it quite as much as Ocarina of Time?
It was just there's so many like side quests or just maybe main quests to get like certain mass, be here at this time and stand over here, and then you have that constant rushing because of the time.
Mm.
You can't take your
You
time and
can't like it's not
explore.
like a leisurely
Right.
exploration, maybe like Breath of the Wild might be. It's more like you're under the gun.
Right. And you're like, if I don't get this done at the end of this day, then I'm gonna have to wait and then just start over again and then try it again. So I did beat it. I went through like, okay, I beat it once and I was like, I'm good.
Never again.
Never again.
It's
Sorry.
probably one I'll never play, if I'm being honest.
Speaking of one I I haven't played, 2001 on the Game Boy Color, we got Legend of Zelda Oracle of Seasons and Ages.
Yeah, I know nothing of this game because I didn't play handhelds. So
I know they played similar to Link's Awakening. Again, it's like a top-down perspective, and that works well on the handhelds. And this was unique. I guess I did hear something where they were talking about making a trilogy set with these games, but it was dropped, and then they just did the two. So what was kind of unique was if you wanted to get the full story, you would have to be ages and then be seasons, and then you would get the complete story. And I don't know if you like got something in one and was able to keep your save and cross it over, but they had high ambitions.
gotcha. Yeah, I don't know nothing of that one.
And then this one here in 2002 was on the GameCube, and we got Wind Waker.
Wind Waker.
I was just live streaming this.
What do you think about that one?
So now going back to it, this is my copy. I got it when it came out. I never beat it, but I played it, and they definitely went a different direction. They did show, I think at might have been E3, what Link could look like on the GameCube. They're like, this GameCube's coming out. We're going to do a new Zelda game. And they kind of showed kind of like a high resolution Link and Ganon almost from like Ocarina of Time.
Okay.
And then they went a completely different direction and went Toon Link.
Yeah, he looks very toonish, right?
They went super cartoon with the graphics and very childish.
How
Like,
was it regarded back then?
I mean, it's a Zelda game, so people are like, we'll take it. That's what you're giving us.
Right.
It has a lot of like water where you're traversing the ocean because Hyrule was flooded.
Because you're always like on a ship, right?
Right, you're on the ship, the Red Dragon. I did not beat it. I played it for 2 hours just on live stream, and we got through the first dungeon. Um, it's okay. They did re-release it on the Wii U with the HD version, so it looks a little bit better. I don't know if it controls better. I was upset on the controls because um it's one of those with the camera.
Okay.
You're using this, and if you hit right, the camera pans like the other
Ah,
way. And I was like, this isn't how new games are, so I'm not used to like playing it
right.
like this.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know. I don't know if you know Captain Algebra in the gaming community, but I know he hates this game.
Fair enough. But some people really, really enjoy it. It's certainly a fun, unique take on the Legend of Zelda series for sure.
Yeah. I don't know what if it would appeal to me, but I've never played it, so I really have no voice in it.
And these next few I haven't played. So then that was 2002, and then 2004, also on the GameCube was Four Swords Adventure.
Okay.
where you could play as 4 different Links.
Oh, weird.
Never played it.
Never played it either. Can't
It
say
ha
anything to
it
it.
it has lots of puzzle mechanics where you're using multiple people, and it doesn't look like the Wind Waker, but it is, like, cartoony, I guess I could say best
So
with
it's
the graphics.
so you're like doing like teamwork to get through dungeons kind of thing?
Yeah, yeah,
So
and they're all different color tunics, so, like, one's a red Link,
is it
one's blue.
required to play multiplayer for that game?
I It must be like AI if you don't have another I do know that it was compatible, something with, like, the Game Boy Advance, like, thing that hooked up into the GameCube, and if you had 3 other people, like, you could get that going,
Gotcha.
but never played it, and then after that was the Minish Cap on 2004 in the Game Boy Advance, and I never played that one either.
Yeah, me either. What is a Minish cap? What does Minish mean? I don't know
It
what that.
was it was like a cap that Link was wearing that almost looks like a bird.
Okay.
And as far as I know, in the game, you would put the Minish Cap on and you would shrink down to like tiny, tiny size
I
and
wonder
go
if
through
Minish
puzzles.
means like miniature.
Oh, could be, possibly.
Hmm.
Then a 2-year gap and Twilight Princess came out on the GameCube.
I remember my sister-in-law had that game. She was a big fan of it.
Oh yeah.
The one thing that I thought was kind of neat about that almost made me want to play it was that was right when the Wii first came out, so, like, everything was motion control, and I thought it might be fun, which I don't know that this is true. I think it might actually be the opposite of fun, but, like, swinging your sword.
Me too. Me too. I got the sword and shield.
Did you think
I
that would
was
be
ready to
fun?
go. And I was like, oh, it could be Link. Could be. And they did actually. Obviously, most people know this, but they took the game from the GameCube because Link is left-handed in the GameCube. When they ported it to the Wii, they just put a mirror on the game, so they mirrored it to make
Okay,
Link right-handed.
nice.
So if you use a walkthrough and it's like come out this dungeon and go left and go here, if you're playing on the Wii, it's come out the dungeon and go right. It's
Oh,
like
wow.
everything's reversed, just
That's
so you can swing the sword with your right hand.
that's funny. And did you play this game?
I did. I never beat it.
Did you find it to be pretty fun doing that? Or did it not work as well as you hoped?
Yeah, I mean, I remember having a good time with it. Again, there's also another mechanic that they added where you turn into a wolf.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
what is that? You're like,
I remember that on the cover,
right.
the artwork.
So that was kind of unique. Something added to the series. Then after that, we got a few more I didn't play on the Nintendo DS, again with the handhelds in 2007, Phantom Hourglass.
Know nothing about it.
That one, and then 2 years after, 2009 was Spirit Tracks on the Nintendo DS. Again, neither of those I played. I know Spirit Tracks, um, is like a puzzle almost game, more puzzle based than
Okay,
fighting and stuff. I guess Zelda can control, certain like knights to like get through a puzzle so she can because I guess she's dead in the game and she's like a spirit or something. Spirit Tracks.
okay.
I don't
Weird.
know. Never played it. Maybe I'll give it a go at some point if
You
you
know
guys let
more
us
than
know.
I know.
Um, let's see what else after that. So then after that, 2011 on the Wii was Skyward Sword.
Okay, I remember that.
So again, I was super excited to get this. Motion controls. You're going to be swinging the sword like Link.
That's right.
Again, this one too, I never beat.
What's
I
up with you and not beating games, Russ?
like the retro ones. I buckled down. Maybe just because there's a lot more to them. There's it doesn't you can't beat it in a weekend,
You
so to
know,
say.
I guess shouldn't be throwing stones. I still have yet to beat Breath of the Wild, and probably never will.
Now, Twilight Princess has been ported. Uh, no, Skyward Sword. Sorry, Skyward Sword has been ported to the Switch.
Cool.
So if you don't like those motion controls, perhaps you can play it on the Switch and enjoy it.
Maybe one day.
All right, so here's one I did play on
All right.
2013 on the 3DS. Is A Link Between Worlds.
I've heard of that.
You heard of this one? So technically, this one is a sequel to A Link to the Past.
Okay.
And it plays very similar style wise. It's updated graphics, but it's that top down like Link to the Past um, perspective. But the gimmick is you can make yourself into like a painting to go flat up against the wall and like complete puzzles like that, almost like a Mario um like sticker star
Okay.
type there or whatever. So like it's pretty interesting. He like becomes like a mural and like you can like shimmy across to get to like another platform and then you pop out of the wall.
Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting.
So almost like Link to the Past, but again, it's an update. And I went through and like 100% at this game when I
Oh,
had it.
so
I
you
made
really loved it.
yeah, like there was all these other little things you can find, and I made sure I did everything. I haven't played it since it probably came out, but really enjoyed it.
Okay.
We're almost there. We got
Getting close.
3 more.
It's amazing how many Legend of Zelda games I did not know existed.
Yeah, I did watch a nice video on like the history. It was like, 30-minute video of everything,
I would have thought there's like 10.
10 games. Um, we got 2015 again on the 3DS. This is Triforce Heroes,
Okay. I feel like I briefly remember hearing about this.
almost similar to how Four Swords was. You're doing group play, but it's only 3 links instead. Never played it. I don't know if it was fun. Then we got Chorus 2017 on the Wii U. Breath of the Wild came out.
Yep. I have 2 copies of that. One for the Wii U, one for the Switch. And I've never beat either one.
You doubled down and
I'm
didn't beat
about
either
I'm
one.
about 40 hours into both of them.
Jeez. So I live streamed 2 weeks ago and we did finally beat Breath of the Wild on the
Oh,
Wii U.
you
I've been
did
playing
it.
it.
You got it.
So Ganon wasn't as bad, I was holding off. I have only 1 row of hearts, and you can get 2 full rows. He beat me the first time I went in there, and then we waited, and I got him on the second try.
You got him.
I mean, in this game, anticipation and when people saw it was like, oh my god! So like the whole thing was like, it's open world. Link is on this plateau, and he's like, see that mountain over there? Well, you can go to that mountain. You can walk forever, how long it
All the
takes.
way to it. 900 hours to get to that mountain.
If you want to cut grass,
You can cut
have at it.
grass all the way to the mountain. I will say this about the game. I think it looks incredible. I think the gameplay is a ton of fun. Um, the only problem I have with it is just the lack of direction. Like, I need some parameters, and that game has none. So I get lost doing like going down rabbit holes, and I feel like I'm being unproductive, I guess, because I never finish anything. So,
Mhm.
um, and then the other problem is I feel like I have very little time to play a game. So, like, once I finally get back to it, I don't remember what I was doing last time I played it. And how David
Right,
Apuzzo
right.
beat this game twice is beyond me.
Yeah, yeah. He beat it on the Wii U and then bought it on Switch and beat it. And
His
now props to him. He's trying to get every Korok seed in the game.
his wife is a saint. That's all I gotta say.
There's like 900 Korok seeds, I think, or something in the game.
He's he's a madman. You're a madman, David. What are you doing?
Uh, and then so that brings us to our current 2023 in the Switch. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is
And
coming out.
when does this drop? Pretty soon?
Well, it would be this. We're recording on
Oh,
Wednesday.
that's
Drops this
right. It's
Friday, so
coming
it
Friday.
dropped yesterday, basically.
Yeah, you guys are having a good time playing it all Friday night into early Saturday morning.
See that? I got to work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, so
Are you planning to
play
get
out
it?
there. Yeah, I wasn't gonna plan on getting it right away, but I might as well. We beat Breath of the Wild, so I'm
There you
like,
go.
I'm on to the next one. I did do an awesome project. If you guys haven't seen my latest video on the Russ Lyman channel, I did a custom skateboard of Tears of the Kingdom themed. So I was getting excited for the game, and I'm working on a few other Tears of the Kingdom things. Hoping the videos take off because the game is taking off. And I did just get where is it? Boom. Got my Nintendo Force magazine with Zelda in it right there. So
That's
super
sick.
excited. I haven't gone through it. Look at this. This is hilarious. If you flip it over on the back here, it's got Ganon on it as like Hyrule health.
Almost like Men's Health.
Right, like men's health.
That's hilarious.
So good.
900 Korok seeds. Jeez Louise.
So yeah,
It's madness.
pretty neat. I did want to dive into I put some notes of awe-inspiring landscapes to talk about and unforgettable characters. And then we want to hear from you guys too as well.
Absolutely, we do.
But before we do that, we're going to jump into our Power Minute. This is part of the episode where we take a look at a Nintendo Power magazine from back in the day. We're going to check out what games were, number one people were playing, and maybe we'll get some tips and tricks. And of course, I had to keep it themed, so I grabbed an issue with The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. This is, let's see, when did this come out? Volume 34. So that's pretty early in the life cycle of the Nintendo Power.
I'm gonna guess November '92. That's just me guessing.
Usually it says it in the upper right corner, but it's just giving me the.
What about on the spine?
That's what I thought. Nope, just volume 34.
Lame.
No, we don't know what year.
I'm gonna Google it while you're looking at it.
Okay, fair enough. So let's go into the top games and see what top games were then. Well, actually, here I can show you the spread of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Oh, what did I think I ripped out the poster. Look at this.
March '92.
You can see a rip right there. So this came out in March.
Wait. No, it says January 1st, '92.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't know why it says March on one and January on the other. So what did I say? I said November '92, so I was off.
All right, they got a comic in here. I'm trying to see where they have the number ones. Oh, and they got a nice. They got the Zelda comic.
That's
strip
cool.
Or whatever in here, like the graphic novel.
That's sweet. I like that.
So quite a bit of that.
That almost looks like the moon from
Majora's Mask.
Yeah.
All right, here's the classified. Yo, they got Mick Kids in here.
Mick Kids. That's our intro music.
That is our intro music. If you guys don't know,
I'm gonna have to buy this episode or this edition.
Nice. That's so cool. Where the heck is the? I'm gonna go. It's from the back.
Get the power, Nintendo power.
There we go. Here's our top 20. This is what we're looking for, guys.
Get the clues you can use.
Oh, and here it gives us the date over here, March.
Oh, it was March 92. Okay, cool.
All right, coming in at number 1 was a Super Mario Bros. Oh, let's see. So they broke it down. So we got Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and Game Boy. Okay.
All right, let's see it.
So Super Mario Brothers 3 is number 1. Number 2 is Battletoads.
Cool.
And number 3, Dr. Mario. Number 4, TMNT 2, the arcade game. And coming in at number 5 is Tetris, classic puzzle game.
So 2 puzzle games in the top 5. Wow.
Yeah, Dr. Mario and Tetris. All right, Super Nintendo taking the top spot. Super Mario World.
There you go. We got Mario 3 and Mario World.
F-Zero at number 2. Final Fantasy number 2 at number 3. Number 4 slot was Final Fight. And number 5 was Sim City.
Okay.
Can't say I ever played Sim City.
I haven't either. I used to have it complete in box, but I have since sold it.
I like their little description. Oh no, a plane has crashed. The city hopes it has enough fire stations to put out the flames.
That's crazy.
And then for the Game Boy, Super Mario Land.
Wow, the trifecta.
Number 2 was Metroid 2.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
And look at this. Number 3 was Dr. Mario. So on Nintendo and Game Boy, both took the 3rd slot.
Wow.
Number 4 was Mega Man.
Okay.
And number 5 was TMNT 2, Fall of the Foot Clan.
I almost said TMNT 2. That's funny. I was just guessing.
So that's March 1992, your top 20.
That's cool. What a trip back in the warp pipe.
Yeah. So if you guys wanted to get this issue, it does have, I said, link on the cover there. This is volume 34. It's got some Mick Kids, and it must have had a cool poster, but unfortunately I ripped that poster out. So
I really like the cover.
Sweet cover. And I do look at this throwback on the back. It's got a van. Keep your gear in high gear. Keep your game in high gear, and it has a Mario van like servicing.
I love how the hood of it has Nintendo written across it.
Yeah, look at
Oh,
that.
like
It's like
not the hood, but the front,
the front grill.
the grill. Yes.
Nice. Sweet. All right. That was our power minute. Hopefully you guys enjoy that new segment. Jeez,
Power minute.
the
No,
power
no,
minute.
I was confused because that said other awesome podcast.
Was that what it said? Oh,
Yeah.
I exported the wrong file. It should say, and now back to the episode.
Yeah, that's what my brain's like. What?
I will say we didn't really touch too much on it, but we have dropped off the Dorkening Podcast Network. We felt wasn't a good mix for us, so we decided we'll just go on our own,
We're not dorks. We're nerds.
We're nerds. So there's no commercials. And we're self-funding this. So if you guys want to jump on the Patreon and support the show, you can do so over at Rustline.
There you
go. Or get some merch. We got the weekly Warp Pipe mugs.
They're pretty good. They're pretty sweet.
Stickers. All that stuff is on theweeklywarpipe.com.
I still needed to get me a t-shirt.
Yeah, the t-shirt's pretty sweet too.
So I can look official.
I will say, if you guys are listening on Apple, unfortunately, it currently isn't working on Apple. I have to fix some stuff. We were moving the podcast over to a new network, and we got Spotify okay. Obviously, YouTube, I've been doing that, so it's fine if you listen on there. It's working on Spotify. The episode has gone over to iTunes, but they're not playing currently. So a few people had mentioned to me on the Facebook group was like, hey, what's going on with iTunes? So it should be fixed by this weekend, hopefully.
Sweet.
But so we asked you guys, Legend of Zelda, what do you guys think about the game, the series? And you let us know.
What did you say? What did you say?
Springfield, let's hear from you.
So we'll jump.
That never gets old.
We'll jump over to our Facebook group there and see what they are saying. We got 2 comments. Eric Plunk had said, fighting Ganon atop Hyrule Castle at the end of Ocarina of Time was hands down the most epic boss fight I had experienced up to that time.
Wow.
Nice. Yeah, imagine, the 3D environment and all that, Ganon being huge. And you're like, what's going on? Definitely awesome. Matthew Durkin, I remember being 15 and really falling in love with Ocarina of Time.
Wow.
I rushed home after school, play it every free second I could. I had a friend at the time who was big into PlayStation, and we have our own little console war and argue all the time about whether Ocarina of Time or Final Fantasy VII was the better game.
Oh, I like it. I like the rival.
And it's a unique rival because it went Nintendo PlayStation instead of Nintendo Sega. So you don't see that often. Yeah, I guess, that'd be debatable depends if you like the RPGs. There's definitely more grinding, I would say, in Final Fantasy VII to get your level up, whereas in Ocarina of Time, you can't really. You can level up some of your gear, but there's no like attack the enemies and Link will grow stronger.
Right. Get bigger muscles.
Get the muscles. And then we'll jump over to our community page. We have on YouTube.
What did you say?
What did you say? All right, we got 9 comments on our YouTube page.
Dang.
We got Alex who was just in my live stream, and he's like, "There's a podcast." So, new listener to the podcast, he said, "I'm going to jump over." My fondest Zelda memory is getting the Minish cap on Game Boy Advance for Xmas and staying up late playing it. I actually cried a little bit when I first heard the theme to the Minish village because it was so beautifully composed. How about that?
I can relate to that.
Second fondest memory had to be getting Breath of the Wild on my birthday and meeting Sidon for the first time. I didn't know fish princesses could be so optimistic.
Yeah, I can remember that too, actually.
Nice. Definitely good stories. Thanks for those. Mike Bomb can very much remember waking up early before everyone else at my cousin's house and to play The Legend of Zelda on NES. The dungeons were very memorable for me being in a room lit by the TV screen and that dungeon theme constantly on loop. Very nostalgic feels.
Yes.
That's yeah, like for sure. Like the CRT TV and
Yeah.
just hearing that doo 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 like
Probably the big one, like sitting on the floor.
right, yeah, and you're looking up at the TV and just like exploring through there and like maybe you see someone move out of your peripheral.
Yeah.
Who's there? Someone's going to the fridge.
That's funny. Someone
That's
had
a
to
good
pee.
that's a good nostalgic memory for
I
sure.
like it.
All right, what else we got? Next person said it's Rodney Torres. What
Rodney.
up, Russ? What up, Jay?
What's
Hey guys,
up?
love the podcast. Link to the Past is my all-time favorite. It's a great game, highly rated, but it's my favorite because that's the game that really got me into the series. I was hooked immediately after.
I can imagine. That would be a great one to start on.
Yeah, like you said, when maybe you're playing the NES one and then you see like a Link to the Past, you're like, what the heck is this?
Yeah,
Like I could have been playing that.
mind blown.
Doug Mansland says, I have a long, wild story from my childhood that I'll summarize. All right, so
Sweet.
here's a short one. I'm old enough to say I was a kid when the sequel to Legend of Zelda was released on the NES, and it was hyped like crazy in Nintendo Power and in other gaming magazines. But I also a significant news story due to the shortage of memory chips needed to manufacture the game. There was truly a supply chain issue with the original run of Adventure of Link. I will never forget the feeling of tearing the shrink wrap off my first print copy the day it came out, having lined up at the toy store with precious few copies. Anyhow, just one day after getting the game, my family was scheduled to go away on vacation.
Oh, that sucks.
And after extreme fuss, I convinced my parents to let me bring an NES along on the said trip, where I spent the entire trip in our hotel room grinding away.
Yeah, you gotta get through Death Mountain. That's
Wow.
what an amazing story. Like,
What you get it new and then
I
hey,
I
we're going on
couldn't
vacation.
I couldn't imagine my mom being like, "All right, Jay, yeah, go play Breath of the Wild, or sorry, not Breath of the Wild, The Adventure of Link for an hour or two. Then it's time to pack because we're leaving tomorrow." I'd be like, "What?"
I mean, props to your parents being like, okay, you could bring the NES. All right, fine,
I
pack it
hope
up.
hopefully he had a Z bag.
Right? Right. The travel case. Nice. Great story for sure.
Thanks for sharing. I love it.
All right, who else we got? Pure Profit said, replaying Legend of Zelda as an adult. I had worked on my way through the entire game, getting all of the extra hearts and everything. Shortly after entering the final dungeon, my system glitched out and erased my save file. So I had to restart from the beginning and play through it twice.
Oh, man, what a bummer.
Well, hopefully the second time went a lot quicker because you just did it. That stinks, man. But it's not like you had to play through Majora's Mask twice.
Or Breath of the Wild, like David DePuzo, the freak of nature.
All right, Jay Ritt. Unfortunately, didn't find my love for the Zelda series until later in my gaming life, but Link's Awakening and Link to the Past have been so good. Currently playing through Twilight Princess before I start on Breath of the Wild. Anyone else as behind as I am? LOL.
Clearly me and you're in the same boat.
Nice.
'Cause I didn't beat, The Legend of Zelda, The Adventure of Link, or Link to the Past until about 8, 9 years ago.
See? Then Jay commented, I remember that Breath of the Wild is too freaking long to continue.
That's right.
What we got? Corporal Donut trying in typing in Zelda to play the second quest and then getting lost since everything was in a different place. How about yeah, when you would put Zelda as your name in the original NES, you would start the second quest
That's right.
and they moved all the dungeons. Now I played through the second quest one time, but I played it with my laptop watching like a walkthrough of the game. So I was just kind of playing along just so I physically played it and beat it and it was just easier that way. So that's the route
Right.
I went.
Just to kinda get through it, just to say you did it.
Yeah. So that was fun. Um, let's see, what do you say? Then I was let down by Zelda 2 and then later replaying it, thinking it was decent, but not great. And of course, the "Excuse me, princess" line
Yeah.
from the cartoon, definitely memorable for sure.
I really enjoyed The Adventure of Link. I think it gets a bad rap, but I get why people would be
Right.
upset with it.
Well, again, it's almost like the AVGN, crapped on it, so then everyone's like, "Oh, yeah, I have to say it's a bad game."
Well, and it's kinda like, Simon's Quest. It's so different from Castlevania 1. It's not what people wanted, but
Right,
it's
right.
but it's still good.
But in retrospect, like, looking at it back then, there was nothing else to compare to. Okay, Zelda 1 was this, Zelda 2 is this, like,
Right.
this is the path we're going. Alright, to wrap it up, we have the last one is Madomo. I keep so too many letters on Hernandez. We'll go Madomo Hernandez. With the controversy that is going on now with good games don't sell consoles, I got an N64 just to play Ocarina of Time, and it was money well spent. Of course, I got into more games later on, but that game got me into the N64.
I didn't know that was a controversy going on, but I would say, Mario World sold me on the SNES back in the day.
Well, I guess maybe he's saying about like now, like, I mean, I only recently just got a PS5, and that came out what, like 2 years ago. And the reason I got that was I did want to play the new God of War, and eventually the new Silent Hill is going to be on that.
Gotcha.
So I was like, okay, gonna have you force me to get a PS5 then if I want to play some more.
I have what Xbox is out now?
I
Like
I, I don't keep yeah, because I'm not an Xbox guy. I don't
oh,
know what the
gotcha.
newest is.
I
I
got
know
the
the
I got the one right after the 360. So I guess it's the Xbox One, the
one, yeah.
original.
Hmm.
But I don't think I own one single game for it. It's just like a big oversized streaming device.
Just an oversized streaming device. Fair enough.
They would have to release like a really dope Halo game for me to want to buy a new Xbox ever.
Oh, someone mentioned. I'm gonna give him a shout out if I can pull this up quickly. Someone mentioned about Halo on our Instagram page. So if you guys are following us on Instagram, just at the Weekly Warpipe, you can follow us there. Let's see. It's Michael Bennett again. Thank you so much for all the contribution to the podcast.
Thanks, Michael.
He said they made two live action Halo movies: Halo 4, Forward Until Dawn,
Yes.
and Halo Nightfall came out.
I think I've seen Forward into Dawn.
Think you've seen those?
I think I've seen one. I don't remember much about it, if I'm being honest though.
Now, I never played the Halo series, so it would be unique for me to watch it and not really having a backstory or like nostalgia playing the games, just watching it as like a video game movie.
Next time you're here, Russ, we're gonna pull it out and give you some exposure to Halo.
Nice. We'll play some multiplayer.
Yes.
All right, we got a few things. This is gonna be a good long podcast. If hopefully you guys enjoy the little longer episode here. All filler, no
Oh,
killer.
no, all killer, no filler.
Oh, it's a reversed.
We're awesome.
We're awesome. Um, so I did want to talk about some of the inspiring landscapes. I said when the Legend of Zelda hit the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1986, the solid gameplay was enough to keep players hooked. Enter The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 12 years later. The groundbreaking N64 console introduced a world of new possibilities for the game, from cinematic cutscenes to 3D environments. Fast forward to 2017, and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild redefines the meaning of awe inspiring when it comes to video games with a stunning open world. That's for sure. Like, so many different places in that you can visit that perhaps are in past villages or games rather. Kakariko Village and Death Mountain,
Yeah,
Gerudo, like, and seeing it in such HD and all that is freaking awesome.
kind of wild.
But like some people said, experiencing Ocarina of Time and being in like Hyrule Field and being on Epona or like going to the ranch to get Epona was certainly like awesome, and like to see
One
that in the 3D.
one thing that's weird to me is how the map changes. Okay, so like Zelda 1, like it's very like identifiable where things are, right? Because it's all on like a flat grid. Uh,
Yes.
Zelda 2, that overworld map looks nothing like Zelda 1. Like things aren't even in the same place. So that's confusing. And then you get to Breath of the Wild, and then it's just like insanity. So I don't know. I wonder if there is actually any like cohesiveness to those maps, or if they just kind of did whatever they wanted. I don't know.
I mean, again, it probably comes down to limitations of the system of how they wanted things. I mean,
But like you would think that
you know
like
what you had to do? You had to get Nintendo Power.
that's right.
Get your map in there.
But if like Death Mountain on Zelda 2 is on the bottom left of the map, like why isn't it always down on the bottom left?
I see
Why?
what you're saying. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's gotta be west, southwest is where Death Mountain is, but that's not always the case.
Right.
Death Mountain just goes wherever the heck it wants to go.
Let's see what I put some other notes of landscape. I talked about the vast sea in Wind Waker, where you're able to explore like the whole ocean. And that was never done before in any of the Zelda games. You know, you had your raft where you can go a little bit, but now you're like, okay, now we can just sail around if you want.
That's right.
So I thought that was pretty unique.
You can sail away, sail away, sail away.
Hyrule Castle and Breath of the Wild, probably, you know, obviously the best it's looked. You'll be able to explore that. And I did mention already the light and dark world of Link to the Past. I thought that
Yeah,
was really unique and gave it, you know, even though it's that Super Nintendo 16-bit style going into the dark world, it has that gritty, like evil vibe going on with it. And you're like, you know, everything's dead, the brown, they use like, you know, the color palettes.
yeah,
Definitely you're like, okay, this what happened here, you know? Definitely
right.
something took over.
Something terrible happened here.
And then could touch on a few unforgettable characters. Obviously, Link. There's many
Yeah.
variations of him. I don't know if you have a. I put what's your favorite in-game sprite of Link, because then they could depict, you know, Link like a human or however they're going to do with promotional stuff. But
My favorite in-game sprite of Link is Zelda 2, side-scrolling Link.
oh, okay,
Love it. Don't know why.
just that
Yeah.
stabby.
Stabby stabby.
I will say, like you said, a lot of people do enjoy the NES Zelda first one, but I said he does look so wonky.
He does, dude. He looks a little janky. I
I
mean, I can use my imagination to picture otherwise, but
It's like I'll just go. I do enjoy the art in the manual for the Legend of Zelda.
oh, absolutely.
I have
That's
debated
my
about
favorite.
possibly doing like a tattoo of that art,
I will
but
show you my favorite picture here in a
but
second.
pixel wise, I probably have to go with Link to the Past for even though he had some pink hair in it, but hey, whatever.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I have the Nintendo toy box, and
Yes,
there's a really great picture of Zelda on or Link on there. Not Zelda. I just did a cardinal sin, didn't I? And sorry, go ahead and cancel me. Um, but I think this is like one of the dopest pictures ever. Like where he's like let me get it.
yes, and he's looking over
There we go, right there.
to Death Mountain. He's on the cliffside.
Yeah. And then I also really enjoy the one where him and Impa are like
Yes,
embracing or
embracing.
whatever. Sorry, I'm not doing a good job showing that, but you get the picture for those
That's a
of
good
you
one.
on YouTube.
Let's see. I did want to mention Ganondorf.
Yeah.
Okay, so because you had Ganon, who was like this pig beast thing going on in
I
the first
thought I
NES
thought he was way cooler as the
as
pig
like pig
beast.
beast.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Green Ganondorf.
Fair enough.
I think he looks like a goof.
Every great story needs a villain, and while Ganon is the more recognizable villain, Ganondorf is the more interesting. His introduction in Ocarina Time was one of the pinnacles of gaming.
Should have kept him the same.
Well, we're getting him
Change
back in Tears of the Kingdom.
change is bad. I'm just kidding.
What about Tingle? Do you know anything about Tingle?
I know sometimes it happens when I hit my foot too hard on something. You get a tingle down there.
Christ.
Just kidding. I have
So
no idea.
So he was first introduced in Majora's Mask.
He
It
explains why I don't know who Tingle is.
says the Legend of Zelda producer Ija Anuma explained Tingle's origins in an interview with Kotaku. He said that the character had been designed as a way for the player to access maps in Majora's Mask. He commented that we ultimately ended up with a character here that had a little bit of humor to him that came from thinking of what sort of person would sell a map. And well, we decided it would be the kind of person who makes maps. And the way he makes a map is by floating through the air so that he can see the contours of the land and draw on
Oh,
them.
he's on Breath of the Wild.
So he does have his own like mini game as well too. He's in like a green outfit. I think he has like a mustache or something, that very odd like looking character.
He's a
So
goof.
so he's made some appearances here and there. I mentioned Skull Kid in Majora's Mask as well. I thought this was unique, which I didn't know. So Skull Kid is a young imp who first appears in Ocarina of Time. He was dressed in a red cloak and hat covering an underlaying of clothing. And there are a few other imps that can be found in the Lost Woods. Two play a memory game with Link as a child, and one rewards him if he plays a particular song for him and his ocarina. And then in the direct sequel, Majora's Mask, the Skull Kid is seen with a pair of fairies named Taltil and Tali. He steals a mask called Majora's Mask, which grants him great power but corrupts him.
I don't know about that guy.
I mean, he's the guy that has the mask on
Oh,
in the game.
gotcha.
So eventually, you get the mask off of him, and then Skull Kid's okay again.
Is his face a skull?
Yeah, I don't know why he's called Skull Kid.
Weird.
Maybe you guys know. Let us know.
Yeah.
Who else did I put down in here? Navi. Hey, listen, right? Listen,
I don't know no Navi.
the fairy.
From what?
I mean, it was in Ocarina of Time.
No, I don't know. Never
It
played
was, which I didn't know. It was short for they needed a way, I guess, to show the player where to go.
it. Okay.
So it's short for
Like
like
navigate.
navigation. Clever.
Yeah, it's clever. Very clever.
Yeah, I mean, that was a bunch of the characters, some landscapes. I mean, we went through every game. I don't know what more we could say about the Legend of Zelda. We got the new game coming out. Hopefully I can beat this one. I said there's a lot that I haven't played and some that I have started and I have yet to beat, where I would have to start again. Twilight Princess to beat that eventually. Wind Waker, beat that one eventually. Skyward Sword. So there's 3 right there, and they're long games. So it's
Gotta
like,
do it. I want to beat the Game Boy one, and then at some point, someday, I will beat Breath of the Wild. Someday.
now, have you beaten
willing.
any of the Divine Beast?
One.
Okay.
I beat one. I don't remember. Was it an elephant? Maybe.
Mm-hmm. That was the first one I
And
beat.
did
Yeah.
it do something with his trunk to make it do something weird? I don't remember exactly. That's as far as I've gotten.
Fair enough.
Now I'm in the desert and I see some sandstorm off in the distance, and I haven't done anything with that yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Last I remember from 2 years ago when I played it.
Fair enough. So, yeah, that was a big look into the Legend of Zelda. Hopefully, you guys are excited for the new game, or excited to talk about nostalgia of the past games. Maybe you're more into the retro style games. I will definitely say, if you're gonna play the Link's Awakening, maybe you could try the one on the Switch because it has the same gameplay. It's just looks 1,000 times better.
That, or I thought about playing it on the Super Game Boy.
Yes, yeah, that is another way to. And you can play Can you play the Game Boy Color one on the Super Game Boy? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I think you have to use a Game Boy Advance player,
Gotcha.
possibly.
Well, I have the gray cart, so
So
it's
there
not
you
the
go.
color.
All right, guys, give us a call if you want to give us some topics. Let us know how we're doing. 949-682-9277. And you can catch new episodes every Saturday and Wednesday here on the weekly Word Pipe.
That's right.
As always, I'm Russ Lyman, and keep your world fun bit by bit.